Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Bright sunshine illuminating our fresh snowfall from yesterday, allowing some spots to get back up into the teens for today. We only made it to 18 in Rockford. We're now sitting at 11 degrees there, as well as in Freeport and in Rochelle. 4 right now, the current temperature in Galena. With high pressure moving into the area, that will keep us clear as we head into the night tonight, and our temperatures therefore will continue to drop down below 0 for many of us through that overnight low, or right around -4, the forecast low here in Rockford. Wind chills, though, likely settling around 10 to 15 degrees below 0. I'll let you know how long that chill sticks around and preview our next snow chance that could come as early as tomorrow evening, coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
Tonight, a woman sentenced for killing a man whose remains were discovered in the Rock River. The number of years she'll spend in prison for the brutal murder.
Plus, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, how local restaurants are preparing for the busiest date night of the year.
And a beautification project in Rockford gets the green light. The improvements making their way to commercial corridors.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Wendell Edwards. We thank you for being here tonight.
Tonight, a woman will spend the next decade and a half in prison for the murder and dismemberment of a man whose body was pulled from the Rock River.
57-year-old Tracey Clark was sentenced to 15 years in prison. She pleaded no contest to first-degree homicide and concealment of a homicide death. Clark, along with 48-year-old Brandon Gaston, are both charged with killing Dennis Scatty in his home in Altoona, Wisconsin. Prosecutors say the pair killed the 79-year-old to acquire his house, his car, and wealth. Scatty's dismembered body was pulled from the Rock River in downtown Rockford in April of 2022. His Gaston's trial is set to begin in July.
2 men are apprehended, accused of possessing drugs and firearm ammo. Freeport police arrested 25-year-old Jonah Derns and 21-year-old Jaden Ramos Uline this morning. Officers searched a home in Freeport where they say they found firearm ammunition. They also found suspected cocaine in a vehicle parked outside the house. Derns is charged with felony possession of ammunition by a felon, while Ramos Uline is charged with possession with intent to deliver within 1,000 feet of a school. Both men were being held in the Stevenson County Jail.
A Rockford woman is sentenced to 8 years in prison for 2 violent crimes that occurred in December of 2023. 34-year-old Amanda Nelson pleaded guilty to arson and domestic battery in November. In December of 2023, Nelson stabbed her girlfriend in her head and in her arm after the two got into a fight at the victim's apartment. And later that month, on Christmas Eve, Nelson returned to the home and started multiple fires while the victim and her children were inside the home asleep. According to prosecutors, neighbors woke the victims up and helped them escape. Police arrested Nelson in October.
Eyewitness News is committed to supporting survivors of all forms of violence. We have a list of resources right here in our community that can help anyone who's struggling. Just go to our website, mystateline.com, and find the Stateline Strong tab. Many people are looking forward to Valentine's Day tomorrow, with countless couples planning to dine out together at restaurants across the country and right here in the State Line.
Eyewitness News reporter Tyler Sorensen actually talked to local restaurants because they too are preparing. And Tyler, what did you learn?
Well, Mimi, Wendell, Valentine's Day is the busiest day of the year for restaurants, with many saying that they started preparation for the big day over a month ago. And these preparations include figuring out everything from the decor to the menu. And as for the food itself, eateries have put a whole lot of time and effort into them, all in anticipation for tomorrow night.
We started early this week for sure. If not, our ordering definitely took place within the past week or so. And then my team is the whole week leading up to Valentine's Day, putting together those dishes, preparing those sauces, prepping those desserts. So it takes quite a bit of time.
Many restaurants are already fully booked for Valentine's Day. So if you're planning on going out without one, be prepared to wait. Mimi?
Reservations are always a good idea. All right, thanks, Tyler. Winnebago County Animal Services is inviting any lonely hearts in the State Line to adopt this Valentine's Day weekend.
The Lonely Hearts Reduced Fee Canine Adoption event starts today and runs through Saturday, February 15th. The adoption fee is $30 for dogs and reduced only to the adoption fee on 30 dogs is reduced to only $10. Get that straight, it's only $10. All eligible dogs have been in the shelter for over 30 days. Adoptions are only available, though, for those with an approved adoption application by WCAS. Additional requirements: you must be at least 18, you must show a state photo ID, and pets that you have now must be up to date with rabies vaccines and county pet licenses, and you must have a minimum complaints on record. Rockford has spruced up its look in recent years, a result of a beautification program between the city and the Visitors Bureau, Go Rockford. And now that program has been extended and expanded.
Eyewitness News reporter Blake Deed spoke with officials today to learn more. And Blake, what's this program called?
Yeah, Mimi, it's called the Forrest City Beautiful Project. And Wendell, since its inception in 2014, the program has installed various artworks and landscaping throughout the city. And that is set to continue thanks to that extension that was reached this week.
We care very much about the way the community looks because it's a reflection of our values.
From murals to sculptures to gardens, Rockford has received a makeover in the last few years, thanks in part to a collaboration between the city and Go Rockford.
So Forrest City Beautiful is a program that we started. It is a public-private partnership that addresses areas of concern that then turns them into beautiful landscape spaces.
Forrest City Beautiful will continue to spruce up Rockford. This week, the program was extended for 6 more years with an additional $25,000 added annually to its budget. City Administrator Todd Cagnoni says the program's great results made the extension an easy decision.
We wanted to continue it because we've had great success with this program. You know, one, we're able to leverage public dollars with private dollars, and it's important that we have public spaces within our community that create a sense of place. And I think the overall success and benefits of this program have been very fruitful.
Go Rockford President John Gross says the program has helped to install around 60 murals and 15 sculptures throughout the Forest City. He says the program's renewal will only expand their work.
The increase actually comes from the city asking us to take on additional areas of responsibility. Part of the expansion is within downtown, in front of the Coronado, in front of Memorial Hall. Those will be coming into the program. There's some areas along South Main Street near Morgan Street, that neighborhood that's coming into the program. We're just looking forward to an extension of the agreement and continuation of our partnership.
Beautifying Rockford, one street at a time.
Grow adds the program's growth is reflecting the citywide effort from housing to retail to improve it for residents and visitors alike. Mimi.
All right, thanks, Blake. Vice President J.D. Vance calls for fewer restrictions on AI.
When we return, why the VP's stance on artificial intelligence has some experts and lawmakers worried.
And tonight at 6, new scholarship opportunities for state-line students. How high schoolers in Boone County looking to continue their education can apply.
Our high temperature today reached 18 degrees in Rockford with that fresh snow on the ground, but that sunshine was out there. That will be replaced by cloud cover and our next snow chance going into tomorrow. We'll time it out for you coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Scott Leber, and meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
It's a brand new day for big tech in Washington, especially for AI industry leaders. Vice President J.D. Vance championed calls to deregulate the artificial intelligence industry while at a global AI summit.
Raquel Martin is in Washington, D.C. with the full story.
When it comes to governing artificial intelligence technology, the new Trump White House is taking a more hands-off approach
that fosters the creation of AI technology rather than strangles it.
At a global AI summit, Vice President J.D. Vance railed against burdensome regulations he believes will give China an advantage over the West.
The AI future is not going to be won by hand-wringing about safety. It will be won by building.
In the end, the U.S. and the U.K. were the only nations not to sign a global pledge to promote responsible AI development. China joined 60 nations that did. Vance says he's concerned certain guardrails could promote ideological bias and stifle free speech.
But that's not what we're talking about in this particular case. There is no First Amendment right to discriminate against people.
Cody Vinsky with the ACLU fears a lack of guardrails will give corporations a free pass to exploit citizens.
And we're seeing that roll back. President Trump repealed President Biden's executive order on AI, which required agencies, for example, to think hard and issue guidance on the way that AI can affect workers and suppress wages.
Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley says Vance's concerns are valid.
The AI consistently propounds a far-left, woke liberal viewpoint,
but wants to work across the aisle to pass solutions.
What I'm worried about is normal people. Can they protect their kids? Can they protect their jobs? Can they protect their own information and images?
In Washington, Raquel Martin.
Well, after yesterday's heavy snowfall here in the state line, it looks like it's going to remain dry going into tomorrow morning.
It's just going to be cold tonight. Can I say cold again?
Cold.
There you go. Jordan Wolf will tell us about our chances of snow, though, beyond tomorrow as we enter the weekend. His full forecast is next.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Fresh snowfall out in Poplar Grove, illuminated by a lot of that sunshine that we had today. A live look at that with our Mercy Health SkyTrack camera overlooking Poplar Grove, brought to us by the Poplar Grove Airport. That was illuminated with the sunshine from the high pressure, and that high pressure really showing up when we look with satellite and radar. And that's what we see across a very broad region, with a lot of the cloud cover from yesterday out to our east. High pressure clearing us out, and that will continue as we head into the night tonight. That's already allowed our temperatures to drop from the upper teens, where a few spots were for those afternoon highs, down near the single digits in a few spots. 10 degrees right now in Rochelle, as well as in Monroe, Wisconsin. 11, meanwhile, in Rockford, DeKalb, and out in Freeport. 4 degrees the current temperature out in Galena. When you factor in that wind chill, it already feels like below zero across the board, and those wind chills and air temperatures will continue to fall as we head into the night tonight. Our weather watcher Terry out in Genoa reporting 13 degrees for a current temperature, a westerly wind 16 to 21 miles per hour, along with a dew point of 3 degrees and no measurable precipitation for him today. As we head into the night tonight, that clear sky allows our temperatures to continue to drop down around 4 below zero for that overnight low. A mostly clear sky and wind chills likely ending up around 10 to 15 degrees below zero as we head into early tomorrow morning. Those winds will remain light, but gradually start to flip around to come out of the south, and that will continue as we head into tomorrow. A south-southwest wind gusting to around 25 miles per hour will bring our next weather system in. That will allow for the cloud cover to increase, and that will start to bring our next chance for snow in as we head into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. A high temperature tomorrow right around 26 degrees. Futurecast showing up all this very well. That increasing cloud cover through the night tonight. Temperatures reaching the mid-20s for many of us. Cloud cover, though, will be filtered in, especially in the upper levels of the atmosphere initially, then down in the lower levels, because we will have a lot of dry air to work with. That next weather system brings our next impactful snow into the area as we head into the second half of the evening. A lot of that really doesn't start to develop until we get after 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, evening, and then later on into the evening, that's when we see the most steady snow start to develop. A lot of that drier air down near the surface may limit how much of that initially reaches the ground, but with how quickly some of this snow will spread over the area, I don't think that dry air will limit things too much for too long. 6 to 7 o'clock is when we see that most impactful snow, and that could last for a few hours further than that, but that'll be a relatively quick moving pocket of that wave. Around 2, 3, 4 hours, and it'll be in and out of the area, allowing then for a little bit of a lull in the precipitation late into Friday night and early Saturday morning. Within that window, we could see the potential for a few flurries, possibly some freezing drizzle before additional snow will develop going into Saturday morning, and that could last through Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, and possibly even into Sunday morning in the form of some light snow on and off. The potential for some flurries going into Sunday morning as well. So our snow totals look like this. That initial wave mostly going to be widespread across southern Wisconsin, so therefore the higher totals through Saturday morning likely going to be up to the north. But wherever we end up seeing that snow last for a little bit longer than that 2 or 4 hour window, could see those totals quickly add up across northern Illinois as well. That second wave won't add too much to the totals there, but could allow for another couple spots to pick up at least 2 inches of snow or more. So all told, we could see some spots end up with around 3, 4, 5 inches of snow, but that confidence will be higher in southern Wisconsin, where that snow remains widespread for longer. 26 degrees for Friday, up to 32 for Saturday, and then that cold air really starts to settle in. Windy conditions bringing our wind chills back below zero, and sub-zero wind chills along with sub-zero low temperatures could last as we head into the middle of next week.
I may call in cold tomorrow.
That'd be totally understandable.
Thank you, Jordan.
Scott's next with sports. The Cubs have missed out on one of baseball's biggest free agents. Scott has reaction from the team.
And we'll learn about 2 key Ice Hogs who've been sidelined by injury.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
The Cubs won't be adding all-star third baseman Alex Bregman and his bat to their lineup. He's agreed to a deal with the Red Sox. The Red Sox will pay him $120 million over the next 3 years. The Cubs reportedly offered him $120 million as well, but they wanted to spread that over 4 years. Bregman had a .260 batting average and he hit 26 home runs for the Astros last season, despite dealing with a bone chip in one of his elbows. Since the Cubs missed out on him, it's looking like rookie Matt Shaw will have to be there, have every opportunity to win the third base job. Now here's Jed Hoyer on the Cubs swinging and missing on Bregman.
Obviously disappointed. Great players, great fit. We definitely recognize the opportunity. I was really thankful to Tom and Todd and Laura. I spent a lot of time talking about a pursuit of him, and they were willing to sort of greenlight us pushing our budget. Ultimately, they got a deal in structure and in amount that we couldn't match.
Most baseball experts are picking the Cubs to win 90-plus games and to win the National League Central. Cubs GM Carter Hawkins doesn't really care about what people outside the organization think about the team.
I think even teams that come in with a 97-win projection aren't just, throwing their hands up and saying, hey, we're good and we're done. So there's no, goal that, hey, once we get there, we're going to stop. But yeah, I think it's pretty natural to think that teams that come into a season that are expected to win around those high 80s, 90 wins, they have a really good shot of making the playoffs. We feel like we're around that spot.
Well, the Ice Hogs are dealing with some injuries. Goaltender Drew Comesso has a sprained right ankle. He's expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks of action. Forward Colton Dock has a strained hip. He's expected to be sidelined for 7 to 10 days. The good news is forward Jerry Mayhew is available again. He's been cleared to play now that he is over his strained hip. Aaron Rodgers is done as a New York Jet. The Jets have announced that they are going to move in a different direction at quarterback. Rodgers has not responded publicly to that decision. Rodgers made 18 starts in his 2 seasons with the Jets. They won only 6 of those 18. The Jets still owe Rodgers $40 million over the next 2 years. That's sports. We'll be right back.
You have a cold forecast for us.
I know, and that comes right after some more snow. So the snow lovers getting what they want. The
and no melting.
Lovers in general not really getting what they want. I don't know. Wendell's not a fan of the cold. I know that.
It's disrespectful.
Disrespectful when the numbers go below 0. When you get the little slash in front of it, that negative. Nobody likes that. I don't like that. I'll take the snow, but only if we can deal with like 20s and low 30s while we just keep the snow around, but not enough to be cold. Unfortunately, we do have more snow on the way, and that is followed by more cold. The short-term first warning interactive radar keeps us clear. Our next chance for snow coming in tomorrow evening could come down pretty steadily at times, but then after that, through the weekend, temperatures dropping single digits for highs next week.
Well, thank you, Jordan.
We'll see you at 6.